are talking to a woman who says she gets noticed anywhere she goes. Pauline Potter weighs almost 700 pounds and holds the Guinness World Record for the heaviest living woman. I know some of you out there, to you, Pauline is just a woman who can't stop eating, someone with no willpower, someone who you may say, just look, she brought this on herself, Dr. Phil. Well, I tell you what, she's actually a mother, she's a daughter, she's a friend, and like anyone else in this life, she has hopes and dreams. She wants to be free of the enormous shell that she's been living in. We're going to talk about how she got there. We're going to talk about what it means to her to be trapped in this way and what's going to happen to her if something doesn't change, something dramatic. Take a look.
I am currently the Guinness World Record holder of heaviest woman living. The last time I weighed was probably about 4 months ago, and I weighed about 660. My heaviest was 711. My son does everything for me. I will stay in my bed all day if Dill is not here, only because I can't lift my legs. They're real heavy, so I can't put them up on the footstool by myself, and they need to be elevated. Getting dressed is difficult. Dillon helps me get dressed every time. I can't even put my own undies on because I can't bend over to step my feet into them. I don't bend over and try to put them on myself because I'm afraid I'll lose my balance and fall. It is hard to shower. Half the time I end up washing my hair in the kitchen sink. Just got up, this is my breakfast. A bowl of cereal is over here. Then I have a turkey TV dinner right there. And then I have 2 yogurts right there. I have apple juice to drink. I'm addicted to food. I have tried 100 different diets. I'm a compulsive overeater because even after I've eaten and I'm full, I'm physically not hungry, I'm still reaching for my table for something else. Oh, Lordy. Phil's gonna say you're using too much sour cream and too much butter, and you guys are witnessing it all, so I can't even try to lie about it. Dill, where are you, honey? Food is comforting. I love food. I love the smell, the taste, the texture. And I have a cup of chocolate milk because it will keep me from having heartburn. Well, it won't keep me from it, but I love chocolate milk. Sometimes I wish my addiction was drugs or alcohol, because then at least I could quit it cold turkey, you know? And food, you can't quit cold turkey. You have to eat to live. Ooh. Oh, goodness. My worst nightmare would be immobility, for sure. Being stuck in bed or having to use a bedpan. I don't even want to think about where I would be in 5 years if I don't lose the weight. It could be bad. It could be immobile, or it could be dead. Not waking up is my biggest fear, because I want to be there for my kid, and I want to be here for me. I don't know why I did this to myself. Why did I let it go this far? I don't know.
Well, Pauline wants to know the answer to those questions, and she traveled over 400 miles to be here today. And believe me, you just don't go out and get in the car at that size. It was quite a journey. Take a look. At nearly 700 pounds and with her current medical conditions, Pauline could not travel in a normal car, and it wasn't safe for her to fly. So I hired a trained medical transportation team to bring her down from Northern California to Los Angeles.
Nervous, excited, scared to meet Dr. Phil. I love him, but I'm still intimidated by him. I only got probably about 4.5 hours of sleep last night. I was a little bit nervous, anxious, nauseous, like all the emotions rolled into one. My hope is that Dr. Phil will not think that I'm too far gone.
It took an ambulance, a second support vehicle, and a crew of 5 men to safely transport Pauline for the 7-hour journey.
So thankful to Dr. Phil, because I know this took a lot of planning, and that was a big thing, getting me over here comfortably, and grateful that I'm getting this opportunity. You guys went through a lot of trouble, and I really appreciate it a lot.
Okay, tell me what you're thinking and feeling right now.
I'm just really emotional after I hear the tape and stuff of my, that's me. That's my life story.
What do you think about that when you kind of step back and see it on film?
Embarrassed. Like, it's not a happy title at all. But I knew that I would have to degrade myself to get my story out there. It's embarrassing.
And you say you actually went after this Guinness title to shame yourself into losing weight. Tell me about that.
I already had this body, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna take advantage of it and use it in my favor, even though it was, not a positive thing. I figured if someone could see this title, that they would then see me, and it would be out on the internet, and I would be really embarrassed, but at least someone could see my story and maybe help me.
What's your theory about how this happened?
I'm not really sure. I just feel like, as a kid, we celebrated with food for any emotion, happy, sad, or whatever, so it maybe started that way. It is in our genes, like all of my family is big, but I'm absolutely not blaming it on that. I know that I have a big appetite at times. I have a sweet tooth. I want dessert after breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Let's kind of look at the progression for a minute, and then I'm going to tell you what I think about this. These are your pictures as a baby, that just as a newborn, and then you probably look to be, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old
Right.
here. And so, you look like any other child right there. When you were 13, you were 220 pounds.
Yep.
Okay, now at that point, you're about double size. It doesn't stick out so much there, but at 13, you should be weighing, 90, 100, 110, something like that. And you're 220 at that point. What happened between 5 and 13 that caused you to basically double up in size?
I don't know. My parents got divorced. I don't know if that could have been part of it, but I really don't feel like in my mind that I know that a certain event happened. Like,
Okay.
I don't know.
And I'm not fishing for something, because I don't know either. I'm just trying to see what you know, and to an extent, I want to figure this out, but I only am interested in the why as to the degree that it affects the how and the what. How do we fix it and what do we do? And by the way, we are going to fix it.
Thank you.
So you're in the right place for that, girl. Let me assure you for sure. But at 13, you're about double. All right, at 15, you weigh 250. Okay, at 17, 270. At 19, 290. Okay, and at 25, you're up to 350 pounds. So you've been moving, 20 pounds a year, 10, 15, 20 pounds a year. But at 29, you weigh 400, and you're 4 months pregnant here. But at 30, you've had the baby, but you're 450. So you gained your pregnancy weight and then put weight on top of that as well. At 32, you've jumped to 500 pounds. 38, 600, 47, 675, and now you're 48, and you weigh close to 700 pounds. So I noticed in all of that progression, not one time ever was there a decline in weight. It always went up. And you say you've tried everything in the world. You've tried every diet. You've made every resolve. I'm going to do this. I'm going to fix this. But not one time, at least in those choice points that we had pictures to support, did you ever decrease. What do you make of that?
Maybe I just didn't try hard enough. I don't know. There's so many things that I would like to be able to do. Once I get winded, I need to sit down and rest, and my lower back starts hurting if I walk too long. If I even stand up 5 minutes, I'm gonna feel like I'm dying before I sit down. The time that I walked from my bedroom to the kitchen to wash my hair, I had to sit down. By the time I got to that sink, if that chair hadn't been there, I would have been in trouble.
Well, that was Pauline talking about what life is like for her trapped inside a 700-pound body. Now, when she does want food, a trip to the grocery store is an ordeal. Everything is an ordeal when you weigh this much, right?
It is.
Getting out of a chair is an ordeal, going to the bathroom, taking a shower, going to the store. Everything is an ordeal. It's got to just wear you out.
It does. Absolutely.
She is so heavy that she doesn't fit in the car. So her son sometimes drives alongside her motorized wheelchair. Take a look.
I do my own grocery shopping, but I don't fit in the car well. So my son, Dillon, escorts me when we go to the store. Do you want some more pizza rolls, honey? Get that grape one right there. All right, that's good. My favorite snack foods are everything. 5 green chicken with plum sauce, grab that one too. My favorite food would be spaghetti and French bread. I really enjoy like lasagna and pizza type things. I love Chinese food. And then my big time weakness is sweets. Brownies, coffee ice cream, cheesecake. Like I like just about everything. Key lime sherbet, Dill. I want to try that one. I would like to have dessert after every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm always wanting to diet or watch what I'm eating, and I'm in the heat of the moment and I just want it, so I eat it, and then immediately I feel guilty and regretful and give myself a whole talking to about how I'm not gonna do this anymore.
That is a chore, going to the store, but is that kind of a highlight for you?
Very much.
Tell me about that.
It's not so much just going to the store, it's just getting out of the house, just to be able to leave the house. And it's more of a burden on my son probably to help me get dressed and get into my chair and stuff. But once I'm dressed and I just love to go everywhere.
How do you deal with the criticism and the stares when you're out? Because I know that hurts you a lot.
Some days I just ignore it and I have a tough skin and I just think, well, I'm probably the biggest girl I've ever seen. So, okay, that's fine, you know. But then some days I might say something like, well, what are you looking at? You want to take a picture?
2 things bother me about this. One is not the aesthetics of your weight, but the health aspects of your weight. Because I just know, and we're going to talk about this in detail in a little bit with one of the world's leading experts on this, but you are at risk way beyond what you at a more normal weight would be. I mean, your risk factors, it's like you're playing Russian roulette here. That bothers me for you a lot. And secondly, what bothers me is what you're missing. The part of life that you could be having so much joy that a lot of us take for granted.
Yep.
But what do you think you're missing?
Everything. You know, I can't walk out and check my mail. When my son was 6, I asked him, you know, what's the one thing you want to do with mommy? And I thought he would say Disneyland or something. And he said, I want to ride bikes with you. And to this day, it still haunts me that I haven't got to ride a bike with him. As far as what my life is right now, I haven't been driving for about 4 years because I outgrew the car. You know, I would love to, when I'm in my pool, I do warm water rehabilitation pool 3 or 4 times a week. And again, it's so pathetic, but I watch people come in their street clothes. They go into the locker room, put their bathing suit on, you know, come out, do their exercise, go back in, take a shower, and leave again with their street clothes on. And like, that's a dream for me. Like, I dream about just the day when I could do that. You know, instead, when I'm done with my swimming, I walk back up the ramp, get back in my chair, and go home wet because it's just easier to take care of at home. But so that's a dream too, you know, just to be able to do what they do.
Simple things that you're missing.
Everything's simple, yeah.
Now, before the show, I wanted to talk to Dillon a little bit, so I sat down with him just one-on-one. Now, Dillon is Pauline's son, and I wanted to talk to him about what it's been like from his point of view to be the child of the heaviest woman in the world, to be someone that was your primary support system. So let's take a look at that conversation.
Good morning.
Dillon, Dr. Phil, how you doing?
Good.
Good to meet you. First off, do you think she's serious about wanting to lose this weight?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because she talks about pain that she has in her knees all the time and how hard it is to move around.
Because there's a point at which it can kind of be a handy excuse for not being real productive. Kind of like, I'm disabled here by my weight, so you can't really expect me to do anything. So it's just kind of a free pass. You just get to kind of ride along in life.
Yeah.
You think that's a possibility as a factor here with her?
Yeah.
And how about with you?
I know that I kind of take over the same eating habits as her. Like, I know I have sometimes a bigger appetite than her, but I'm trying to like not eat that much either.
Why do you think I'm bringing that up?
Because I might be following in her same footsteps.
Well, you're not going to. I'm very proud that you have made such sacrifice for your mother, but there's a point at which helping someone can shift into enabling someone, making it actually easier for them to stay sick. But if we're going to be completely honest here, you're kind of a prisoner, aren't you? I mean, this is a 365-day-a-year job.
Yeah.
That's not fair to you. I'm not trying to be mean to your mother at all. I want to help her. I want to get her to be more independent. Do you want to get yourself in shape?
Yeah.
Do you want to see her get in shape?
Yes.
What would it mean to you if the two of you could get on bicycles and ride down the street?
A lot, because the only thing I remember doing with her is that she used to be able to walk around the store a lot, and now she can't even barely walk from the bathroom back to her bed or the couch without getting out of breath and being able to stand up.
And you're 18 years old. This is the time to stop this right now. What do you think about what he had to say?
I don't know. That's my baby, and I want to make him happy. I know he probably does feel trapped, and I have a helper person that like helps me with showers and stuff, but they're not there 24 hours, and he is, so he has a lot on his plate. It's kind of like I can't live unless he helps me live, you know? And that's not fair to do that to him. But at the same time, I couldn't do anything without, you know, that help.
But your goal is to get where you can.
Right, exactly.
And you support that with Dillon, right?
Right.
Because you don't want him to be locked in 365 days a year.
No.
I mean, he couldn't even like go on a senior trip or something. He couldn't go, if friends said, let's go somewhere for the weekend. That would be very difficult for him.
It would be difficult for me, but he does do that. He goes camping with my sisters for a week or
But
whatever
he doesn't
with
really
a church
have
group.
many friends.
No.
And,
He's not always super social, but I think maybe out of guilt he chooses not to be real social.
but you want to see him.
I want to see him out and about and having a good life and just doing anything that kids his age can do. When I look in the mirror now, I think, yeah, you're still kind of pretty. I don't have as much confidence and I don't have a very high self-esteem, but I still try to see some of the prettiness in there, but I see my fatness and I think, you gotta lose some weight, girl. You gotta lose some weight.
Well, that was 700-pound Pauline Potter talking about what she sees when she looks in the mirror. Now, my next guest liked what he saw when he looked at Pauline and was married to her for 2 years. Now, he says he loved her despite her weight. Take a look.
Pauline and I met online. We had been emailing for a long time, and I wanted to know what she looked like. She told me, I need you to know that I weigh 400 pounds. It didn't matter. I fell in love with the person that I was writing to and their thoughts and their passion. The rest, I didn't even see. Well, I was intimate with Pauline. Is the best sex I've ever had. If anything, I think her weight just enhanced our sex. When we got married, I thought we were doing all the things to lose weight and she was still gaining weight. Pauline was very insecure and very sensitive about her weight. When her insecurity was high, she'd call up to 20 times a day. And I'd be in a meeting sometimes and have to take her call and reassure her that, no, everything's okay. No one's taking me away. She worried a lot that a thinner woman would come take me away. We were married about 3 years. We got divorced, definitely not because of weight or anything like that. She was having some issues with my son, and so I told her, if you go out that door, I'm gonna file for divorce. But she went anyway, and then I filed for divorce. I always promised her, even when we got divorced, that I would be there by her side, no matter what. When Pauline got the title of World's Heaviest Woman, it threw me for a loop. I thought this whole time she was losing weight. When we separated, she put on probably a couple 100 pounds. It's a total surprise. I love her, and I don't want this to affect her health, but eventually it's gonna catch up to her.
Thanks for being here. Now, you guys were married for 2 years, right?
I think a little over 2 years.
Okay. And what did you weigh when y'all got married?
I think a little over 600.
Why did you leave?
Just It's real difficult to have blended family, and I thought it would be perfect and wonderful, and as soon as I had an issue with his son, I just bailed. I really regret that. Like, I should have hung in there and tried to work it out a little more, but I just thought, you know, I just bailed.
Did you have any idea that she was as large as she was when you first talked to her?
None. And we wrote for a long time back and forth and talked on the phone.
So you eventually sent a picture?
Yeah, I sent him a picture to his email, and I just said, I weigh 500, and he came back and said 500 with 2 question marks, and I was like, okay, that's it. I'm never going to hear from him again. And I said, yeah, and you know, I got a headache. I got to go. And I like shut the computer off and left out of the room, waited about 3 hours and went back in there, and then I had a beautiful email from him saying, you know, you're beautiful. I don't mind that you're that large. I still like you. I still care about you.
She goes, I didn't send you a picture because I knew you wouldn't love me anymore. And I wrote her that it's too late. I already do. So,
It was an awesome fairy tale story.
Yeah.
yeah. So the weight issue is our problem, and we have been fighting it ever since. On there. And even though
So you don't mind that she's overweight so far as appearance or anything?
No.
I assume you're concerned for her health.
Absolutely. She's such an awesome person. I cannot tell you how great she is.
Are you in another relationship now?
Kind of, yeah. That we're so far apart now, and I don't know if there's hope of her coming back.
Well, aside from the blended family issues that you had, how did you two get along, in your opinion?
Awesome. Like, there was no financial trouble. There was no fighting. It was strictly just the blended children issues.
At the risk of being indelicate, people are curious. Were you able to be intimate when you were together?
Very much so. Normal, like anyone else. It was awesome. That was absolutely
Did
not a problem
work
at
for
all.
you?
We never let it hamper us from traveling to intimacy. I wasn't going to let it put a damper on our lives.
You were so helpful with us in everything, and then it came to a point where we said, we want to start this process by have you examined by a doctor. And you said, no, I don't want to do that. Tell me why.
Maybe just scared that he would find something that I don't want to know about. I worry about waking up every day, so I don't want to find out that something's wrong.
But you understand that if there is, the sooner we know, the better our chance of fixing that.
Right.
And I know about this fear, and there's something you don't know about me, but I have and/or have had members in my immediate family that are well over 500 pounds. Every one of them is afraid of talking to a doctor because of what they might find out. But that's a threshold that you just have to cross.
I estimate my weight between 750 and 800 pounds. 24/7 on the couch for the last 4 or 5 months. I feel like I live in hell right now. I'm in constant pain. I haven't taken an actual shower in over a year. I get sponge baths. Somebody has to dress me. I have to pee in a urinal or a bucket, do number 2 in a bedpan.
You know that you're killing yourself here. Tell me, what are you doing?
I'm getting myself basically to death.
You're fighting for your life here. You are absolutely out of control.
My greatest fear is the heart attack. There's no way that they're gonna get me to the hospital and save me.
Well, that was Big John. We met him back in season 2 of the DrPhil show. Sadly, 2 months after taping that show and after successfully losing 100 pounds, John passed away from complications with asthma. A tragic ending like John's is Pauline's worst fear, of course, and her son Dillon's. But it doesn't have to end that way. Now, my next guest weighed over 700 pounds and has lost an incredible 400 pounds and is still losing. Take a look.
This is hard. Losing weight is never easy, especially if you weigh 477 pounds.
I'm so proud of you.
That's all I could do. But I started a mission to get healthy, and in just 7 months, I lost 100 pounds.
Stay with it, push.
It was hard work. I'm craving something.
Look at that.
And there were times I didn't think I could do it. I've hit a wall. You just don't understand how hard it is.
I know what she needs. Don't let them rush you.
I'm sick of it. But with the help of my friends and my team of experts, I am conquering my lifelong battle with my weight. I want to step out of my comfort zone. My dream was to one day ride a bike. It was amazing. I did not want to get off that bike for nothing. I can't believe I'm riding a bike. Good girl! Yeah!
Well, Ruby, thanks for being here. And you know who Ruby is, right?
I do. Watched her show every week.
You watched her show and,
I did.
and tracked
She's
what's
a big
going on.
motivation for me, actually.
Right. So, what did you want to say?
First of all, I've been listening to y'all, and I want to tell you, you can do this, and you have to, when you said about your family members, you have to go to the doctor. That fear was the same as mine, but it saved my life. I was dying and didn't even know it. I actually, let me be honest, I actually felt my body dying. I couldn't even hold a bottle, a canned drink, it was too heavy. And my mother kept pestering me and pestering me. Finally, I went and the doctor said, you're gonna die. My sugars were like 500. I didn't know I was a diabetic. And he says, if you don't do something now, you're gonna die. And I thought it's meant for me to die. Whatever I was supposed to do here on earth, I must have done because I can't beat this. I never have beat this since I was 13. I've tried every diet. I could put my mind to anything else and I could beat it, but not this. And I said, well, it must be meant for me to die because I can't do it. And then something kicked in and said, no, you're not gonna die. You're gonna do this and you're gonna fight this. And you're gonna find out the truth behind what's going on. And that's when I went on a journey to find out the truth.
You've lost how much weight so far?
I'm a little bit over 400 pounds and it has been,
No surgery?
No surgery. But the most craziest thing I heard you say, you went, and I heard your son talking about how you want to get better, you know, you want to feel this way and everything, but you really don't know what it's like to be smaller. You know what I mean? We do when we were younger because, you know, but I didn't know what I was missing out on because it's almost like we have a security blanket around us and we don't even realize it. And we're so in our comfort zone, we want to get better, but we're so fearful of something and we can't even explain what it is. I had no idea, y'all.
You need to listen to Dr. Ruby because she's telling you, she's telling you some very wise counsel here.
But that's because I went on a journey to lose weight, but I really went on a journey and found myself. And I'm about to cry because I'm still finding myself.
And it wasn't a success-only journey, right? You've had some setbacks along the way.
I gained weight. If you watched the last, I had a setback and I gained weight and I've lost what I gained. But I was determined. I said, you're not, and it was denial. I'm sitting there and I'm eating sugar-free stuff saying, oh, I can have this. No, you can't, you know, because we're not normal people. We're not normies. There's, you know, Tenny, one of the therapists that was on my show would say, there are normal people, you know, and then there's not, and we're not normies.
The public's reaction online is very negative. I stopped reading it because it is hurtful. Someone put on there, that bitch is just sitting there 24/7 eating our taxpayers' dollars. I just feel like people that live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Almost everyone has an issue. I don't think that anyone is perfect.
Well, that was Pauline talking about public backlash towards her weight. Now, she received media attention when she was named the heaviest living woman in the Guinness Book of World Records. But the truth is, you are, as you say, not normies. There's going to be challenges that you're going to have to face every step of the way, right? There are things you're going to have to do because you're not going to be like everybody else.
You're not feeding your stomach, you're feeding the mental. It's mental. All this is mental. We're feeding something else. Our emotion, our anxiety, our fear, whatever happened at childhood. Something made you start having to have that to feel, I think that's a way of us feeling satisfied.
Well, and I think what people need to understand, and I've said this many times, things often start for one reason and continue for a completely different reason.
Yes.
You get to a point where you say, what's the use? I mean, I'm so far gone now, what the hell? Just do what I want to do. And I always talk about what I call 4 stages of readiness. Number 1 is they were compelled by authority. They were just there like court ordered. You know, I'm here for anger management because some judge who knows everything, okay. So they're not really motivated. They're just compelled by authority. Number two, they're there, they just want to comply to escape criticism. You know, I'm here because people think I should be. Nobody can make me, but they think I should be. Three, they're intellectually aware of the need to change. They get it up here, but they don't get it in here. They know in their head, this isn't good. I need to stop drinking, drugging, raging, eating, being depressed, whatever. Or four, they're mentally and emotionally self-motivated for change. Because there's a point at which you will say to yourself, I am so sick to death of this that I will not accept it for another second, of another minute, of another hour, of another day. I want you to be in that place.
My medical conditions, besides obesity, is I do have the slow thyroid, and then I have lymphedema in my legs, which means the veins around your ankle are supposed to compress, like contract, and force the fluid back up. And mine don't, so the fluid pools in my lower legs. Other than that, I don't really have any other medical problem or condition. I don't have diabetes, I don't have high blood pressure, I don't have sleep apnea, I don't have any of that stuff that I know of.
I told you that I had a world-class expert here today, and I want to introduce him to you now. This is the guy. And I'm talking about Dr. Theodore Khalili. And he is the founder and director of the Khalili Center for Beriatric Care. Dr. Khalili, thank you for being here, by the way. I really appreciate that. Two things. Is she, in fact, an acute risk for something happening that could devastate her health or even her life? And number two, is she too far gone, or can she come back from this?
Pauline, let me be perfectly blunt with you. I think the risk of you dying from your obesity is extremely high. That's the bad news. I think the good news is that there's a lot of resources out there that can help you lose weight. And as you lose weight, what you'll find is you'll reverse the chances of you developing a lot of these diseases. And you'll become lighter. You'll sleep better. You'll be more active. You'll be more energetic. I know at this weight, statistically, your lifespan is going to be shortened by about 10 to 15 years.
Think about how much time that you have left with Dillon. You can add back that 10 or 15 years that you've now taken away.
You need a comprehensive treatment plan. So it's not about, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in the next week, I want to lose 20 pounds in the next month. We're talking about you losing weight, keeping the weight off over the long term, and not yo-yoing back and forth, up and down, because that puts tremendous stress on your body and damages your organs tremendously.
We have also arranged for Pauline to start working with a nutritionist. Misty, right here. Misty Groen, say hello.
Hi, Pauline.
Hi.
I'm Misty.
She is a registered dietitian at the Khalili Center. And what do you want to say, Misty?
Well, it's a pleasure to meet with you, and I think it takes courage to come up and to share your story with us, so thank you for that.
You said before that it frustrated you that you didn't have the willpower to do this. But the good news is this isn't about willpower. Willpower is a myth. Willpower is what you use to get down into that dress before your sister's wedding when you've got 2 weeks.
I love you for
And
saying
so-
that.
and
I love him.
Seriously,
I
I mean, it's where you're starving yourself and
Yes.
you're taking diuretics to get the water off of you and all of that stuff. If you're going to truly conquer this, if you're going to get this under control, it's going to be a lifestyle change. It's going to be a complete lifestyle realignment. And you're going to have to change your thinking, what you say to yourself about food. You're going to have to change your feelings. You're going to have to heal the emotions that you've been medicating yourself for food with. You're going to have to clean up your environment. You can't eat it if it's not there. But you've also got to then introduce the right kinds of foods, because you should never be hungry. I don't want you to be depressed because you're deprived. You're not going to be punished here. This is not something we want to do to you. It's something we want to do with you. This is just the beginning. This isn't the end here. This is just the beginning. Let me tell you one of the things that I want to do for you and for Dillon is we have an organization that we work with called Bistro M.D. Bistro M.D. is a food delivery service that is medically set and calibrated. And I'm going to ask Misty and Dr. Khalili to work with them, and they will design not only your caloric intake, but the composition of the caloric intake. How much carbohydrate, how much fat, how much protein, everything that your medicals tell us that you need. And we are going to provide that to you. We're going to have it delivered to your home every single day for you and for Dillon. Okay, so if you want to go out, go somewhere besides the store, because that's contraband. We're going to bring you what you need to eat and what will help you get where you're going to go. You say you need accountability? Well, you're looking at them, okay? You're looking at them because we're going to track this every step of the way. Does this make sense to you?
Yeah, thank you.
How do you feel about that?
Very happy and very excited, a little bit scared.
I know that one of Pauline's dreams is to ride a bike just like Ruby did. So we contacted our friends at the Hub in Northern California, and they're donating 2 Cannondale Adventure 3 bikes for you and Dillon to ride just as soon as you are ready. In addition, when you lose the weight, Cannondale Murray Washburn will provide you with closing gloves, helmets, whatever you need to make this dream come true. So we've got that out there just waiting for you to climb on when the time is right. Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.